to that breaking news, we want to check in on the federal response to this major bridge collapse in Baltimore. Our national correspondent, Kayla Gaskins, joins us live. Kayla, when I was driving in at 2 o'clock this morning, I did hear that our Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, says Baltimore will have everything they need from the feds.
He did, Kim, and today is a day hopefully you don't have any bridges in your commute. It is a you do not really want to drive over one after watching this video. Now, according to the White House, President Biden, though, was briefed this morning on that bridge collapse and will continue to receive updates throughout the day. We know that a large federal response to this tragedy is underway. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, as you said, issued a statement this morning, writing on X, quote, "I've spoken with Governor Moore and Mayor Scott to offer the Transportation Department support following the vessel strike and collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Rescue efforts remain underway, and drivers in the Baltimore area should follow local responder guidance and detours and response." But Kim, this is a Singapore-flagged ship, and the cause of the collision has yet to be determined. We are learning the owners of the ship are cooperating fully with authorities. However, the White House does say there appears to be no indication of nefarious intent. The White House also says they are closely monitoring any developments.
And they are still searching for people, hoping to be able to rescue them. I know 2 people have been pulled from the waters, one in serious condition at the hospital. The other was able to walk away from this. But Kayla, sadly, this is not the first time the U.S. has faced a large-scale bridge disaster. How has the federal government responded in the past?
So, Kim, as we look back at some historic bridge collapses, they are very different instances, but they give us an idea of the scope of how the federal government responds to a tragedy like this and the timeline it could take to get some answers from an investigation. So let's go back to January of 2022. A bridge collapsed in Pittsburgh, sending several vehicles and a public bus into a park below. 10 people were injured. It actually collapsed hours before President Biden was set to speak in that area about the infrastructure bill that he had signed into law the previous year. At the time, he said the disaster highlighted the need to improve infrastructure. But the deadliest bridge collapse before this was the Mississippi River Bridge that happened in Minneapolis in 2007. It killed 13 people and injured 145 more. The National Transportation Safety Board investigation took more than a year in that case. The Federal Highway Administration launched an inspection of 700 more U.S. bridges with similar construction, and the replacement bridge cost $234 million. Now, I know these are very different instances, but we can likely expect a wide federal response and investigation, as the federal government will attempt to put safety measures in place to make sure something like this does not happen again. Now, the scope of the Francis Scott Key Bridge disaster in Baltimore isn't clear yet, but federal authorities are at the scene. They are analyzing it, and the response of an investigation could, though, take months, Kim, or maybe even up to a year.
And Kayla, we were looking at the live images as you were detailing past bridge collapses, and I know that infrastructure issues have been a problem in the past. This bridge, though, built in 1977, and the digging that I've been doing with the help of great helpers in the studio with me, we were able to see an engineer who was already interviewed, and he doesn't believe that there were infrastructure issues with this bridge. It's just when a container ship hits a support structure like that, there's not much that maybe can be done. Thank you for the latest. We appreciate it. Stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.